I was working as a financial advisor selling life insurance, which was horrendous. A gentleman that I met, he introduced me to trading. He showed me, I was like, whoa, like I don't have to deal with people, no more banging phones, and like excellent. So I started with Forex pairs. I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't even know the pairs, nothing. Just trading what people said, do this, do this. We got that check for COVID. I put that whole check in there.
All in, baby.
This is before I knew about prop firms. It was like 1,200. I blew it in like a few days. I hate to say it. I actually took a year off from the chart because I got so beaten down. It took me 4 years to understand risk management and then 5 years to implement it. I didn't get it. It's crazy to me. I'm like, why do I have to sit here and get mentally hijacked waiting for this to just go boop? I actually just see the market and just take risks because that's what we're in, a game of risk. It's probabilities. I can show you anything. It's not going to matter. What really matters is
what's wrong with the Forex trading space? So I had the pleasure today of recording a podcast with Nicky Limitless, who is a bit of a personality in the trading space. I actually came across him through CTI, through kind of Instagram and social media. He's a really cool dude. He's got a really cool personality and he's just a fun geezer to be around. We had a great chat the other day about his trading journey, how he trades, and he has this really awesome trading strategy that to me seems pretty alien, but for him makes a lot of money. I'm really excited to show you that. He freely admits that he's maybe not the best educator, but the way he's taking trades, the way he's executing trades, and the amount of profit he's making off these trades is really quite amazing. So let's get stuck into the video. If you're interested in any of CTI's funding plans, please click the link below, find out a little bit more. And as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can catch us in the next podcast. Joined today by Nicky Limitless. Is that the official name we go with, Nicky?
That is my official name, yes.
Is it? Is that your real, actual human name?
That is my real government name, yes.
No way. What a cool name.
Thank you.
So, Nicky, you've been trading for how long?
I've been trading since 2018. I saw trading in January, but I started in May of 2018.
Okay, 2018. Okay, so you got 5 years under your belt. And, what brought you to trading? Talk me through that then. How did you come across trading?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did. So I was actually doing, I was working as a financial advisor, I guess, quote unquote, because I was selling life insurance, which was horrendous.
Okay, I've done that. I used to sell life insurance.
I suck at sales. Yeah, it's great. Like you learn a lot, but I was not good at booking the appointments and getting people to commit to the appointment. Okay. So when a gentleman that I met, he introduced me to trading via a network marketing company. Okay. So that's how I got introduced. He showed me, I was like, whoa, like I don't have to deal with people. Like it's just me versus the market or me versus me, whatever, how you want to look at it. And I'm like, yes, no more banging phones and like excellent, right? And I thought it was going to be smooth sailing, like get in there, learn it real quick, make money, right? Yeah. But yes, I got introduced by a friend through a network marketing company, which I was more serious about the trading. And I realized that they were more serious about building. So it was more banging phones, this and that. And so eventually I parted ways. And then I was like, you know what? I just want to actually trade and not do that side. Fair. So, yeah.
So when you first got into trading, then what were you trading? Were you into Forex? Was it like indices, stocks? Because everyone kind of starts somewhere, and then over the years that it just changes, doesn't it? It evolves and changes until where you are now. So what did you start off with?
Back. So it was Forex, right? Because that's what they were pushing, like learn how to trade Forex and that. So I started with Forex pairs. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know what I was doing. Didn't even know the pairs, nothing. Just trading what people said, do this, that beginner stuff. And then I got into gold and I started trading gold. And as I got more serious, like probably like 3 or 4 years in, and gold I had a year where it just like demolished me because I just really was sucking. Yeah.
It's a humbling pair, isn't it, gold? Because you can have some amazing days on it, and then all of a sudden it will just clear you out, and then you get into those bad habits, revenge trading, FOMO. And I was the same. I used to trade Bitcoin quite a lot, and then there was a couple of moments where the Bitcoin will do those sweeps. like sweeps like you've never seen it, where it would just be like bah, and it will just take out both sides, and it's just like, I know there's manipulation there, but that is just ridiculous. And yeah, I was the same.
Super manipulation.
Super.
Gold and Bitcoin move very similar.
Yeah.
Because they're against the dollar. So, and those big sweeps, they're interesting because you probably see them. You're like, oh, it's supposed to come back to this level, and then it never does.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just like strikes, boom, like a snake, right? Yeah. So I got tired of that because it's not. It's cool. Like gold and Bitcoin, like they hit, you lose massive money. But like if you trade a forex pair, that strike is probably like, I don't know, let's just call it $10. Like, it's small. It's not gonna crush you. No. It's not 1,000 pips. It's not 100 pips. It's like 10 pips, right?
Exactly.
So it doesn't crush you. So, and then you can keep this going, the mind, right? But when you get hit hard, 100 pips down, that messes your mind up. You know?
100%. So you started trading forex, went a bit on gold, stopped trading gold, and then what happened from there?
Oh my gosh, I hate to say it. I actually took a year off from the charts because I got so beaten down. I didn't quit. Because what happened was I needed to make now money. I didn't quit. What I said to myself was I need a break because I'm so, like, I would get on the chart and I'd be like, what am I even looking at? Yeah. Like, I had no idea. I was obliterated in the brain. So I was like, I don't even know why I trade. I have no idea. Like, I lost everything in my mind. So I started driving Uber.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, 4 months and I'll get back in and I'm going to make time for trading. A year goes by. And like, by the end of the year, I reconnected with a buddy of mine who trades Forex, and he's from New York. And we were talking and I was getting back into it, but I was still like not in, right? Okay. And then one day he had a conversation with me and he was like, listen, you're so on the fence. Anytime you lose, you're ready to quit and go run back to a different direction. And I'm like, yo, you're so right, dude. And like, you need those talks, right? You need those talks. And he's like, you need to make the decision that you're all in for the high or the low. And that's that. Like, you want to win this, that's what you want, then once you make the decision, go for it.
That's it.
And I said, all right. And then I like took the day and I decided, I was like, yo, I'm freaking trading. I'm going to trade and I'm going to, make this my livelihood. And that's that. And amazing. Whatever happens. So if I lose, I'm going to take the lesson and stop being so like hard on myself as like, oh man, I lost. No, it's the progression, right? Yeah. So I got back into it heavy. I started educating. I would say educating is key because it keeps you fresh, keeps you thinking about it. Yeah. And gets you out of the old pattern. And then I decided to trade with CTI. And
amazing.
Boom. It was pretty quick, but yeah.
I quit 3 times. I've quit trading 3 times. I'm happy to admit it. I got to a point where I was doing really well. I had three accounts set up on a copy trader. Had about 170 grand's worth of capital. Everything was going amazingly, and I was sat, not joking, on holiday in the sunshine, drinking a cocktail. Right, I was trading off my phone, and all my accounts linked up. Everything was going good. And I remember I lost a trade, and I lost another trade, and then I fell back into some old ways. And I remember the feeling when I blew this master account, which blew my 2 slave accounts, and I was like, I'm quitting. I'm done. This S. I'm out. I'm done. And I took a couple of months out. But there was always something kind of clawing me back, and I remember there was this moment where I watched something on YouTube. I can't remember what it was, but it was a video where this geezer was going, "This isn't like trying to be a football player or trying to be a Olympian or trying to be a movie star or a pop star. This is something everybody can do with enough time and enough patience. You've just got to keep going." And since then, I kind of got back on. But look, it's a beast. It's a beast, and I think people don't give trading the respect it deserves. It's pitched to you and presented to you in this way of kind of make money quick, learn it fast, and the reality is very different, isn't it?
Oh my gosh! But in the beginning, yes, like you believe it because you want to be successful in whatever you do. I think as you progress and you get deeper into the trading hole, whatever you want to call it, like you start realizing it's just like anything else. It's like any business. There's no business you start that like immediately takes off.
No.
And we only see end results of everyone on Instagram or wherever they show themselves. It's like, look, I'm successful. Like yesterday you weren't right there, today you're here. Yeah. So it's like the path they went through, the mountains they climbed, the stairs, whatever you want to call it. Like they did all that and then they appeared. So it's like that's why I was telling you earlier, like I don't even post on social media because I'm too busy climbing, right? Like I'm climbing and then walking the path. I don't need people to, as my wife says, put the eye on it, right? Yeah. To like put that vibe out, to like diminish it and like throw the energy off. So I keep quiet now. I keep to myself. And I mean, that works for me. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I get it. And listen, I've quit 3 times, but like when I say like the first 2 times I legit like was like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. Cause like, I remember for COVID, we got that check for COVID. I put that whole check in there.
Yes.
And
all in, baby.
I was in. I was like, let's go. What am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna go spend it on some nothing? So I was like, let me invest it in this. I put that whole check in. This is before I knew about prop firms, and I used all my money, which I recommend everyone not to. I mean, look, on CTI for $39, you get a $2,500 account. Boom! Yeah. You just increase to $2,500 on $39 US money, right? So that's crazy to me. I'm like, all right, that makes more sense than using my own account.
100%.
So yeah, so I took that money and it was like $1,200. I blew it in like a few days because you start when you're new, like, well, for me, like when I was newer, I would trade and I'd win and I'd be like, yo, what did I just do? And then I would start doubting, and as the doubt crept in, my account started going like this. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I quit 3 times as well. Well, 2 times. And then this one was more like, I was like, I'm not going to quit, but I'm not ready to do it. And I do remember what threw me off it was gold. This is the most recent one. It was gold. And when that news happened with Ukraine, like gold shot up.
I can imagine.
It shot up so quick. And I got triggered because I was actually in an education platform, and they had an indicator, and I don't use those because I know why from previous, but I put it on and the thing started chiming off and I'm like, oh, I got to get in. So it triggered me to just be all like FOMO. Yeah. And then I friggin' blew a funded account and I was like, oh my God, I'm so done. And then every day I was fighting for like, so that was like February of that year, 22, I don't remember, 21. And then until like August, I was just blowing account. I was like, you know what? 1 account's not enough. I need to get 3 and do the copy trader. Yeah. And then I was blowing 3 accounts at a time. Amazing. And I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm seeing it so small. I got to think bigger.
And I think you got to take risks. You got to be prepared to take risks. You got to be prepared to lose from time to time. And I think it's taking those risks and learning from that pain, which, makes us learn and develop. So it sounds like you've been through a few different trading strategies then. So talk me through them, start to finish. What did you start when you first got into trading? What were you doing? And was it EMAs?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
EMAs.
EMA crossover.
I love EMAs, but
crossover.
I don't love EMAs anymore, but I at first it was really like a simple. And you know what? It's all good, right? Because, like, you need some place to, like, ground yourself.
100%.
So then you can start taking steps. Because if you never pick one and, like, stick with it, like, you'll never know how to learn and develop the process of. Absolutely. Right? So I picked EMAs. I started going ham on EMAs. I would win sometimes. I would lose a lot of times. Mm-hmm. But I would say it's not so much the EMA's fault. There's like all these mental factors. Yeah. I truly believe trading is 90. I don't know if the numbers are accurate, but this is what I think. 95% mental, and then 5% is just like actually the work. Yeah. So yeah, like I would use EMAs. Like that. I would use EMAs and then support resistance, consolidation, tactics, all that. Yeah.
So I did a video recently for my YouTube for my Discord group where we were doing a webinar, and it was kind of free flowing like this, and this thing came to my head about the phases of a trader, and I feel like you can split traders into 3 phases. Phase 1 is when you first step into trading. And this is all the really simplified strategies that are out there. So EMAs, pattern-based trading, support and resistance, really simplified, trading strategies where draw a straight line, draw a triangle or a wedge, or use a wobbly line, okay? And we're trying to simplify it into that. And then what happens is people try that out, and if they stick at it, they'll then move to phase 2 usually, which is where it gets a bit more complicated. This is where we start learning things like supply and demand, Wyckoff theory, and more advanced trading strategies, but are still effectively, a supply and demand is, it's technical support and resistance, really. You're drawing a box now, a zone to trade from, instead of just drawing a straight line. And then...
But more in depth.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think most traders, if they stick at it, they then get to phase 3. And most profitable traders understand that actually there's an algorithm that drives this marketplace. And in order to make money with it, you need to understand what the algorithm is doing. Usually it's hunting some sort of liquidity. And basically, if you start picking out liquidity points, you can generally then stay on the right side of it. And I think each trader goes through these 3 phases, and everyone I've spoken to so far has confirmed that actually to make money you need to be in that phase 3. I'm going to assume now from your big old grin on your face that you now trade a kind of liquidity based strategy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say I think I'm at the point, from what you're saying, like I've been touching back and forth between phase 2 and 3. So just because I passed the challenge, I'm still challenged by myself in the market, So yeah, like I have my things, but I have I'm definitely in that phase 3. Like I want to be fully immersed there. It's happening.
That's
it.
And I think,
I love that.
What's great about it is that all of these strategies work. Like I said, I drew on the chart kind of supply and demand, Wyckoff theory, all these different things, patterns and all these things. And every single one of them works as long as you make liquidity your primary focus. As long as, you're taught...
Yeah, they're all secondary. Yeah,
exactly. And I think, we're taught so many strategies where the strategy itself is the reason why the market moves, i.e. if price gets to this box that you've drawn, that's the reason why price moves. But actually what we're missing is the fact that there's a liquidity zone to the left that's been swept. Wyckoff works as long as that Wyckoff accumulation pattern is occurring at a liquidity area. And so I think every strategy works ultimately as long as you make liquidity your focus and understand that the strategy is just a way of getting into the marketplace, but it's liquidity that's moving it. Here's an interesting question for you. If you went back now with what if you went back now to the beginning and you tried to trade an indicator-based strategy with what you know now, with your risk management skills, etc., do you think you can make it work? Do you think you can make money with it?
If you're saying like what I know now and then going back to like using an indicator, could I make it work?
Correct.
I mean, do I want to? No, but if I did, I could do it because there's a foundation, right? There's a foundation. I've built steps. And I can make it work if I have to, and I can make it make sense where it needs to, right? And like that's what you were saying just before is all strategies do work. It just they have to like stack on each other to make sense. So if I know Wyckoff, like that method, maybe I'm not it's going to do this now so I can get in. No, maybe I'll just see the whole pattern. All right, that's Wyckoff, right? And now I'm going to look for when it comes out of that like consolidation, whatever. And you just make it work, and then it's like I have the EMAs, so in the crosses I'm getting in because now I know this is the Wyckoff, whatever. Like I could make it work. I want to say something off of, and it's going back to like the mindset of trading, and it's and getting back in. What changed it for me? Because you shared a story. What changed it for me? I was listening to Mark Douglas. Yeah. Right. I think that he had. My buddy sent me this video on YouTube, and it was about probabilities. And I've heard it, and I was like, okay, I didn't get what probability trading is. But it's like everybody wants to go in and win 100%, and like that's not going to happen. And like you could try to be perfect in the market. Perfection is not there. It's not going to happen. You will lose. You'll perfectly lose every time if you chase it. But it's like once you understand its probabilities, like any strategy is possible to work. Because it just, with proper risk management, you could trade any strategy, and it's like the amount of entries you put in.
Yeah.
And it's not like at one time. It's like you try something, it didn't work. Okay, cool. Let me refine it. Let me find a new entry. Like I put in, they call it feelers, right? You jump in the market, you put a feeler out.
Yeah.
So you could cut, because once you have your money in, you're feeling where the market is. You can tell where it's going.
Yeah.
So you put a little bit. Some people put a big feeler. I mean, whatever you want. And then like you lose that trade, but it's like, okay, I paid for that information.
Yeah.
Now I know where the market's flowing. It's flowing up today, right? It's an uptrend, whatever you want to call it. So like once I understood probabilities, it's not about like winning every trade. It's about like your risk management, and then having, like, you could win 20% and friggin' be more successful than anyone at like 50% trade.
Oh yeah.
So that shifted my mindset, because now it's more confident to just jump in almost anywhere, and which is good to help you understand where you're at. Because sometimes you're like, what am I even looking at? But like if you just jump in, not fearing the loss, and more like, hey, I'm gonna pay for this information. Yeah. Right. I kind of sidetracked this, but yeah.
No, that's a great. Do you know what? I've never heard it put into context like that, but it's great, isn't it? You know, every time you take a loss or every time you take a win, you're effectively paying for data, aren't you? It's like you're paying a little bit of money out, okay, and sometimes you're getting an investment back, but a lot of the time you're getting a loss from it. But the way to look at it is that you're paying for that information, you're paying for that lesson, and it's great. You know, I think sometimes some of the worst
cost of doing business.
That's it, the cost of doing business. Some of the worst weeks I've had are after a winning streak. I find that you don't really learn anything when you win. I think, if anything, it kind of lures you into this false sense of security. And some of my biggest losing streaks have come after a massive winning streak. And it seems like, you know, in the past, the bigger the winning streak was, the more I'd then effectively lose next time because of that. I used to call it the Mario star. You played Super Mario, right? You know when you get you know when you get the gold star, that's like a winning streak. When you get that winning streak, it's like the gold star. And you feel invincible. You feel invincible. None of them Goombas are getting you. And then you take stupid mistakes. You take trades and you take stupid mistakes. And the problem is in those moments when you feel invincible, you don't learn from it. And I think that calculated approach to trading, where every trade that you take is a lesson. And this is where people take for granted things like journaling. Like, I'm sometimes bad with it. I'll hold my hands up. I'm sometimes bad with it. But the process when I sit down, there he is. The process when I sit down and make
my turn.
When I sit down and make sure that I do fill out my trades in my journal, I put it in my Notion, I log my charts, and I come away from it. And it's almost like, sometimes if I take a loss and I journal about it, it's like I'm boxing it off. Let's say it's a particular frustrating loss. I'm boxing it off and putting it away. And then I'm getting my lesson and I'm walking away from it. And I think so many people, they don't treat trading, especially Forex trading, they don't treat it with the respect it deserves. This is an absolute beast that will chew you up and spit you out if it can do. And people expect that because anyone can do it, okay, they think that it's going to be easier or that it doesn't require the work. However, you would never walk into a hospital and start doing open heart surgery because you feel like you can do it.
No.
But because you can log onto a computer and you can pick up a mouse and you can start trading with no experience.
I can do it right now.
I can do it right now. That's it. But trading deserves respect. It deserves absolute respect. And it's the rare few that stick at it that learn that, I think.
I love what you said. And I want to add to it, like the journaling part, yes. Like it's a good thing. Everyone knows it. Every trader knows it, especially if you've been trading a while. And the real truth is, to journal means you have to reflect on how you suck. Or you did good, but they might write when they're doing good, but they're not going to write when they do bad. But that's because you're fearing talking bad about like what happened. And like, it doesn't mean it's bad when you lose. It's only bad if you don't learn. Yeah. So like if I lose whatever amount, doesn't matter. And I just like, okay, let's go next trade. And you don't reflect on it. Yeah. One, you're holding on to it. Two, like you're not learning. No. And then three, it's just going to affect your trading going forward.
Too right.
Because now you're holding on to it, and every trade after that is, I'm getting this one back. Yeah. And that's where you lose. That's where I was stuck.
Too right.
Like I got to win it back. But once you lose, it's like, one, it doesn't matter, because it's like the money doesn't matter. You got to let that go. Money doesn't matter. It's about catching your move. It's about like the football team is running a play, and I'm talking American football.
That's
right?
cool. I'm with you.
You know,
I'm with you.
just
I've
clear
watched
that up.
NFL
Yeah,
once.
yeah. So they run their play. They're not thinking, oh, touchdown on this play, right? It's like, I'm going to run this play, and we're looking for first down, maybe, right? And they run it, and then they get the touchdown, cool. But like if they run it, they get a yard, cool.
Yeah.
We keep running a play. We keep running a play until we win. But if you and then going back to your gold star, the Mario thing, it's like what happens. In my head, this is what I think happened. We win, we get a big win, and yes, you're off followed by big losses. That's because we're like, we could do it again.
Yeah.
And like, we're always right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get in, I'm going to do this move again. Mostly when a big move like that happens, one, if you're thinking it's going to continue up, it's probably going to reverse. Or two, it's just like you have this ego now, so you can't even see the market clear, and you're just gambling. You're just like, oh, I'm going to just win again. I'm just throwing it in, right? So this is where it's important, man. And I've been working on this a lot. It's learning self. You say the market's a beast, and it is, but it's only a beast to those who play against the market. I'm not playing against the market anymore. I'm playing against myself.
Yeah.
So it's like when I go in, it's like it's me versus me. The market's just the market. It does what it does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with you.
So I'm playing against myself. That's all it is. So that's why it's important to journal.
Yeah.
Right? It's important to journal, and I've been back and forth on it too, but you know what? It's kind of boring looking at blank pages like this,
right?
Too
right, yeah.
Like when you see blank pages like that, it's kind of boring to write.
So manual as well.
Something more fun. Well, yeah. So I found something more fun. I got a comic book.
Oh, cool.
Thing, and it gives you blocks.
Yeah, that's
so now
sweet.
It's like I can block out ideas, and I can block out, days. So it makes it more fun. You could draw some sketches in it too.
Yeah, nice.
So it's like it just makes it more mentally fun, right?
Yeah, that's good.
And
that's
you don't have to fill the whole page. I just got to fill this little box today, right? So it's pretty interesting. But I'm with you though.
Yeah, I don't journal as much as I should do. I'll be honest, I don't journal every day. I think because I've been trading so long now, and I should. Admittedly I should. What I am good at is I don't generally journal my wins. Like I said, I think the wins are just there. You know they're good trades because you followed your strategy, and maybe that's a fault to myself, but I don't really journal my wins. What I normally do is I make sure I journal my losses. So if I am sitting down to journal, I'll put in my losses, and my wins are kind of just stay aside. I should really be doing all of it ultimately, but I feel like I learn much more from journaling the losses than I do on the wins. I really liked your analogy with sports, and I remember a little while ago speaking to a trader who was, when I was very inexperienced and they were much more experienced than me, comparing getting your full TP to hitting a home run. Now, we don't play baseball in the UK. We play a smaller version called rounders, but it's basically the same, okay? The bat's about that big, and we play it with tennis balls.
What?
So it's weird. It's weird. We do weird things over here.
It's probably fun. It's probably fun though, yeah.
And you swing it with one hand as well. So yeah, he said, getting your full TP, that's it. Getting your full TP, that's like hitting a home run. And you are not going to hit home runs every single time. What you need to get really good at is getting to first base, and then getting to second base, and then getting another player to first base. And he was like, these first and second base trades that don't get your full TP, but get some of it. That's what you're going to get on a regular basis. That's what you need to get good at getting on a regular basis. And then if that trade does run to your full TP, if you do eventually get that home run, that's a gift. Take it as a gift. Understand that it's not a common practice, and don't take it for granted, but get good at getting getting to first base every single time, because in doing so, that'll make you profitable. And that was a big eye-opener for me.
Fact.
To understand that, do you know what, home run trades are great. Sometimes I'll have losing streaks, because I remember not that long ago, I was 1% away from completing a challenge, and I had 0.75% left. And I was in a trade, I was running 0.75% profit. I hit my first TP and I held it.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? It reversed on me. Okay. Took me out, a full loss. And then I went back down to minus 4% over the next few days. And I was I was 1% away, and it was just so frustrating. I was just like, it's one of those moments where I was like, even with all the experience I have now, just get really good at getting like 1 to 2 R out consistently, because if you can get 1 to 2 R out consistently, you can do that at least 50% of the time, you'll make more money than most traders in the marketplace right now.
Yeah. Consistency. Because you consistently do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's a building block.
Yeah.
Like you build a foundation there. Now I know I'm consistently doing this. Now where else can I go with it?
Yeah.
And I love that you said that, because that actually changed my trading, because, you know, like, when is it enough? When is it enough? And when do we take profit? You know, because, ideally we're like, oh, if I had $1,000, I'm good. Or if I had 10,000, then you win 10,000. Like, I have $1 million, right? It's never enough, right? That's the greed. You got to be aware of that, but that's not where I'm going with it. It's more like, I was just watching Grant Cardone. He was talking about how athletes have trophies and they promote themselves. Yeah. They're like, they got a trophy. They have it in their house. Like, you know, their accomplishments. And it's like, but they know what they're working towards, right? And I'm going to take it back on a smaller scale, because that's like the big goal, right? The World Series champions or the Super Bowl champion, right? But let's do it on a smaller scale, like having goals when you're trading in one trade. And it's like, if you just focus on a 3-to-1 ratio, or even 5-to-1, whatever, right? Have your base ratio, and then it's like you hit the 3-to-1, you move your stop loss to that 3-to-1, and everything else is bonus.
Yeah,
and if you get tapped out, I got 3-to-1, baby. I'm good. Let's find another trade, or hey, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
But if it goes 3-to-1, then it drops and it's like 6-to-1. Move your stop loss another 3, and don't move it back. Just take it, because that's just free money at that point, right? Because you're like, I just want 3-to-1. Everything else, bonus, bonus, bonus. And then just keep going 3-to-1 increments or 5-to-1 increments.
Yeah.
Like this week, I caught a trade. I got 24-to-1.
No way.
Right? So it's like, yeah, but you know, everyone's ratio is going to be different because what's your stop loss like?
Yeah.
I want big move and I want tight stops.
Okay.
Super tight.
You want
I want
dream.
them so tight that
It's the dream.
But guess what? That's what I do.
Yeah.
Because if you want something, you can figure out how to make it happen. So I go so tight where I can't even put it that tight because CTI, they have their one thing. I'm not mad about it actually because it's helped me out so many times. Like you have to do a minimum of 2 pip stops.
Yeah.
So it's helped me out because in other accounts I have, you could go 1 pip and I get knocked out, but the CTI account's still in, and I'm like, dang, this 2 pips is helping, right? So
I'm not even sure that's a CTI thing. I think that's MT5 because I just recently switched from MT4 to MT5, and MT5 I noticed you can't like move your stop if it's really close to price. You have to have like a little bit of space, don't you?
It has to be 2 pips away from price,
right?
Like current price. So if it does move down, you can get it tighter, but anyway, like that's why it's important to know your ratios, and that was a game changer for me, and I just recently got that. And like risk management, it took me 4 years to understand risk management, and then 5 years to implement it. Right? I didn't get it, so I just throw the whole account. I would just throw as much as I can because I want the big win. And you know what? My buddy told me this, and I write it down, and it's huge. It's huge, and if you take this and you just read it, whatever, write it every day. It's focus on the process of trading. Protect your trading mindset. If you're focused on the process, you're not caring about the big win. You're just caring about the process of your trade and following it as you got to be robotic, right? You got to create that robot, like
mechanical approach. Trust the process, the results look after themselves, I always say. Trust the process.
That's it.
The results look after themselves. That's all you got to do.
That's true.
So that
Stop thinking of the money. And
that leads us really nicely onto you and your trading. So if we were to then summarize how you trade right now, what would you say your trading strategy is?
I would say it's price action.
Okay.
I also have old information that I do use, but it's like a layering effect, right? So I use the price action. I do use candle patterns, but like I wouldn't talk on it. Like it's just more like I see it, and then like when you trade for a while, you start seeing patterns that show up over and over.
Yeah, agreed.
So like I'm not saying, oh, here's the pattern, I'm trading it. Like I used to be like head and shoulders enthusiast, like, oh, it's head and shoulders, I'm in, right? But it's more so understanding the flow of the market. Okay. That's what it's for, to help you. Like, all right, here's a pivot. Like here it is, it's gonna shift. It doesn't mean it's gonna go forever, right? So I would say price action is where I'm at currently, and I'm utilizing news more, actually.
Okay.
News has been helping me, and I love that CTI. You don't need to, you can't, like other firms, you can't trade news a lot of times, but CTI, very free flowing. You can hold on the weekend, trade news.
Absolutely.
And so I wouldn't say trade the news. I would say let the news hit and then 100%. Find the entry from there.
Do you know what? Funny enough, I've literally just put together a strategy that, I'm talking the last 2 or 3 months around news, because I was the same. I was seeing the news shoot off, and I was like, do you know what? That's just taken out a liquidity point here, and now the buy side's gone. It's probably going to go down there, but it's going to go down there a lot more quickly because of news. So let's wait for okay, there's my setup. Let's take that, and then boom. And I was like, okay, that was cool. And then I'd see other news, and it'd be like, right, okay, that's not taking the liquidity point, so the likelihood it's going to keep going. So let's find an entry here. And I've built this strategy around trading news where I'm just like, I get excited for news days now. I used to open up Forex Factory, and I'd be like, it's a red folder day. That's my trading screwed for today. Now I see it, and I'm like, this is going to be a good day. This is going to be a good day.
Love it.
Look, let's jump on some charts.
But that's what everyone preaches, right?
Yeah.
Don't trade news.
Yeah.
Right? People fear you. Yeah. And you honestly do what you want to do. Just figure out how to make it work.
Agreed.
Like you said, if I give you an indicator, can you make it work? Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, Nikki, we're going to jump on the charts now. You're going to show us a little bit of your magic. I want to see this 24-hour trade as well. I'm going to put you on the spot. I want to see what happened. I'm excited.
Oh, man, I don't mark them, right? Like, I don't screenshot nothing. So, I believe. All right, I'll show it.
Let's see what you got.
I'm going to show you.
Or something similar.
All right, so it was actually. Well, you want me to run through how I would start looking at the chart, right?
So run through kind of your almost like your daily process. So when you sit down in the morning, what you're looking at, how you set up your charts, what you're looking for, and then maybe give us an example of maybe an entry you might have taken.
All right, cool. All right, well, when I open the chart, I right away started the day because everything, it's all the same, right? The date, all the candle patterns, they do the same thing on every time frame.
Yeah.
So understanding, and I just recently got this, but this is something I've been shown since I first started, and I just didn't get it. But it's understanding what's formulating on the day chart, and then knowing, and you can look in detail. So anyway, so what I do is I come in here and I mark off the previous daily high. So obviously I had this one marked because of Thursday to Friday.
Yeah. So
I marked the previous, the daily high, the daily low, so that I know, where the market's been the other day. Because most of the time it'll tap the high, go to the low, or go to the lows and then come to the high, right? Yeah. So, but otherwise, this, it's actually breaking out. That's what it looks like. So, but we didn't have this the other day. So now. All right, so I would mark it. So here, I'll just mark it right now. Boom. And I use it where it's it hits it perfectly, because I like to mark perfectly. So yeah, so now I'll know. So see, this day, hit the top and then it went down, but it came back. But that's Friday, right? The consolidate. And then I'll drop to the 4-hour. So obviously there's consolidation, but if I didn't know all this, right? Well, I guess I should mark current. There's nothing. I just know it's in consolidation. That's what I see right now, so that's what I'm going to mark. And then I have my consolidation. All right. And then I refine everything that I do as I get deeper in. Mm-hmm. I mostly trade, and I'll just in advance, I mostly trade on the 1 minute to 5 minute.
Okay. And
this is more just for information, the 2 to 4. But everything I do is 1 minute, 5 minute entries. But I'm marking from the day chart, so I'm looking for big moves. I'm not looking for little moves. I mean, sometimes I lose a trade because I look for the big moves and I'm not understanding. Hey, it's a small move today, right?
Yeah.
But all right. Yeah. So yesterday. What's today? Saturday? Yeah. So yesterday, Thursday, I got caught up in this, by the way. I got caught up in this. I lost a lot of trades, but because of risk management, I didn't lose much.
No.
And I lost so much because I thought it was gonna do like something like this big move here.
Yeah.
It never happened, and then Friday this happened, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
dang, I missed that. But I was like, oh, cool. It hit a point over here. This box. So, like, this is something I'd look at. Right. Well, they call this order block.
Order block.
So hit this order block. Yeah. Let me get it nice. And sometimes you gotta go lower to get. So something I learned, you gotta bounce around on all the time frames because information, you gotta know what it's using. Like it might be on the 5 and hitting everything on the 5 minute or the 1 hour. So anyway, but yeah, like see, so it hit this order block and then I saw this pullback like this and I'm like, oh, I'm getting in because this thing's coming back up. So I took it for a ride back.
Nice.
You know, but I put my stop too tight, so I caught it. I got bumped out over here.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, that's lessons learned.
And do you have a particular entry that you use, or is there a particular kind of low time frame entry that you use, or do you just literally let it come into that zone and then take a trade from it?
I mean, I would look for order blocks. A lot of times I mark the order block and then I find it's the other way. So like like here right now it's in consolidation. Like I need to go to something that I did something on because it's just not moving there.
Yes.
I want to show you.
Rubbish price action.
So here, I also do this. Yeah. I also use this 15 minute. I lock it. It's only a 15-minute chart. And I put the high and low of the day.
Okay. And
like if you look at the week, it gives you an understanding of like the flow of the market, right?
Yeah,
you want to look back a week. So then I know, like, so here, this Tuesday right here, this is where I caught that 24-1.
Nice.
Right? Because it consolidated. News hit, shot up, and then I knew. I was like, that's such a false move because it's faking out, and it's also hitting liquidity up here, and then it dropped. And like I caught that so perfectly. The funny thing is I've seen them so many times. Like I barely mark my charts. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Like I don't mark my charts like that because I see these moves and I understand where it's going.
Yeah.
And every time I do mark, it's more of like the opposite side of where it's actually going.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've learned that about myself. But when I see something like this happen, this consolidation, and then news strikes and pushes heavy this way, and I just want to tell you, I'm trading odd USD every day.
Same pair.
Like that's where I'm at now. No more gold. One pair. I trade one pair, and that is it. That is it. So like you get to know like what it does. You get to know, like, gold does those big friggin' sweeps. Like, on gold, this would probably shoot. It would be like, come up here and then come back down.
Yeah, too right.
But, because, and Bitcoin. And because this is odd USD, it does that. It doesn't go as high, right? It's just like a little bit, which is only like, how many pips? Look at 18 pips. Yeah, that would be like 180 pips on gold, right? So anyway. But yeah, so I would look at this. I bounce around. Let's see if I can. I'll show you the markup. I guess I can just show you here on this one, and I can move the chart. So I saw this happen. News hit, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm on the 1 minute. Oh shoot, I gotta do that chart replay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because you know how long it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bar replay. Let's go here. So yeah. So I will say what indicators I use is time.
Okay.
So 8:30 is New York Open, or if there's news, this one was at like 8:15. There's news, so time. I trade New York session. All right. And then boom. So I saw this. Wait, I'm on the 5 minute. I want to be on the 1. All right. So yeah. So I saw this on the 1 minute. And when I saw it shoot up like that and I saw this candle come down, I was like, oh, this thing is reversing heavy. And so I just entered right here. Like literally, I waited. I don't know how to explain it. Like that's what I was saying. I'm not an educator by any means. Mm-hmm. I just see the market and I see things and I do it. And this goes back to my real strategy is the probabilities. I don't have like markings. Like it's probability trading.
Yeah.
And I just here's my strategy: probabilities, and I use 5% of the daily max.
Okay.
in this, so for the account I was using, it was $125. So I used 0.5.
Yeah.
Or 5% of that. So that actually is like $12.50.
Okay.
Right? So that's what I work with. So that's why I keep my stops really tight.
Yeah.
Then it looks like this. So if I'm here, I'm pulling it to, I can only go 2, right? So here it is. I'm at 2. I'm at 2. And then I hit 3 to 1 real easy, right? Look, this one candle is 7 to 1.
Yeah. So you'd enter with your stop that tight, would you? You wouldn't go above the high?
Super tight. No,
Wow.
because if it goes the other way, then I'm looking for another entry point
Okay.
The thing is, I don't shift my perspective for a while, but I'm also like, I can. So it's like, if I'm thinking sell, so what happened was news hit, it triggered up.
Yeah.
Right? So it was moving down, so everyone thought it was down, but then it shot up, and then I'm like, nah, this thing ain't going up. Right? It's coming back down. So I saw that, and I was like, all right, I'm entering. And in this particular one, it doesn't ever come back to my stop, right? So then at this point, the game is hold your stop loss, because if you do move it, like let's just say this is my stop, right? If I do move it and I put it too tight, it'll bang me out, and then it'll keep going. So once you're in a good trade, you never really have to move your stop, right? That's what I've learned. So, so like I pretty much, let's keep moving this forward. Right, so then boom, right? So I don't know if this wasn't the 27 to 1, but anyway, this was one trade. I think it was the Monday one. But yeah, I just remember looking, I'm like, holy God, 27 or 24 to 1. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But yeah, so basically I'll move it 3 or 5 because I have a 2 pip stop loss.
Yeah.
Like I might be like 5 to 1 because it's not really hard, to get 5 to 1 when you have a 2 pip stop.
Yeah, 2.
But I know a lot of people, they'll do like this, they'll do like this, and then you're looking for just a 1 to 1. Like, look, you got a 1 to 1. It's crazy to me. I'm like, why do I have to sit here and get mentally hijacked waiting for this to just go boop? And usually the best indicator is like when you're waiting forever for the trade to go in your favor and it just keeps coming. It's usually a bad trade because it's just messing with you.
Well, there's no volume, isn't it, in those moves? If you have to hold it for, however long, kind of in and out of drawdown, then there's no volume in the move ultimately, which is, normally an indication it's not going to go your way.
Correct. So that's why I'm like, I'm doing tight stop losses.
Nice.
Because if it's going to go not my way, it's going to go right away. Yeah. And I could just wait for the better entry, right? So let's say I entered here, right? And I'm like, oh, it's selling. And then it banged me out 2 pips. But then I see this later and I'm like, oh, look, it's going in my favor. Boom, I'm in.
Yeah.
Right. And now I can just run with it. So yeah, like I'm not really a chart marker. Like I do it, but it's like I actually just see the market and just take risks because that's what we're in, a game of risk.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's probabilities. So it's like I might lose right here, but I get back in finding another entry. So what I do use is the candles, right?
Yeah.
The price action. So it's like I don't really need to market. Some people do. I know it's like I guess it's better if like I'm live with it because then you see it because I can just. That was like my problem with educators because people speak and it's all past history. We don't know if they're telling the if they're actually legit because anyone could come in here and be like, yeah, this move, boop. But that's how I view it. That's how I see it, and that's just like news. Now, if there wasn't news, let's just go to 1 hour. And I don't use indicators. That was that chart because I use it as like a reference.
Yeah.
So this is how my chart would actually look. And a little tip for traders is you want to make your candles boring because when they have colors like red and green, the second you see green candle, you're thinking buy.
Yeah.
The second you see red, you're thinking sell, right? So I put it white and black. So some people, they put the same color because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's more like understanding how the market moves, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, let me just do this. I forgot we got this cool tool here. Let's go back to Monday, I believe. Yeah, Monday. I think this is it too. This is also news. This whole week was like news.
Yeah, Newsweek.
It was crazy, crazy, crazy. So much news. All right, let's see. Here it is, 8 o'clock. So for New York time, right? This is 7 o'clock. I start looking for stuff, right? Entries, because like once 7 hits, the market starts moving a little bit more, and then obviously 8:30, the market's at full. 8:30 is New York Open.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 9:30 is New York Open. 8:30 is the Chicago Mercantile Open, but it's New York session, right? So here we gotta drop to the 1 minute. Oh no! All right, I gotta do it again. Let's just do that. Okay, I think I'm. Come on. Last bar available. Perfect. This is Pete. No, saying perfect. Okay, where's the 8? Oh my God, I forgot. I should have just did bar replay. Let me do that. My buddy would be like, "Yo, you don't mark enough charts, dude." Because the flip, because like when you mark charts a lot, like you're very fluid with it, right? It's just like easy. Where are we at? Monday. That's too early. Yeah, let's just do there. Oh, okay, cool. Now I can jump to the 5 minutes. Too far. All right. Different. This is 8. How am I at Friday? Oh, because I got it. Sorry. Monday's super consolidated. Okay. It's 8 o'clock. I will say, being on the lower time frames, though, you do get like sucked in, and you forget bigger time frames.
Yeah, too right.
So then a huge move will happen, and then you miss it. But all right. So here's the 8. All right, cool. So let me mark from here. So what I look for is fair value gap.
Okay.
So what is that? An imbalance, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for imbalances. So here's one, here's another, right? So the other one was news, right? So I didn't really mark anything. I just saw the news. This is like, if there's no news, this is how I'm looking at it, right? Here's another fair value gap, right? And like from what I learned is, if you see 3 like this, they say go with the first one, but I'm seeing it sometimes the second one.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So like, and I'm not marking them perfect. Like I would say be exact, because like you said, the market's an algorithm.
Yeah.
So an algorithm goes exact to like the pipette, like it's insane. So, but see, like to me, like, look, you don't know that it's going to hit here and go. So like, what do? You drop a time frame. Right. So now it's a bigger fair value gap.
Yeah.
So now it's like, all right, cool, hit the middle, but what is it really telling me? So, and that's what I want to say before, like when you first get started, you think everything's real. Like every bit of information is real, and like there's a lot of false information, and it's your job to go in and find what's real, what's really telling you what this market's going to do.
Yeah.
Because all this is like, there's a lot of distraction in there and a lot of fake news, as Donald Trump would say, right? But like, so it's like, you got to find what's real information. All right. So like, it's consistent from the 4 minute to the 2 minute. Like here's the fair value gap. It taps in and it hits this. So this is a 50% line, which they newly put this in. Yeah. So it hits that and then it just goes, right? And like, yeah, cool. Small move. It's not a big move, but it is a move. Mostly all trades are winning trades. Nice tight you know how to get out. I would always do it I would do it as tight as I can. Obviously, I look at market structure too, because it might like just pop back up sometimes, or I don't know. Like, so here, all right, it didn't tap this, but see, like, look, something like this, right? Something like this, like every pair is different. So sometimes it just cuts under it and then goes, right? Because like that's like a small order block, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it still went into it. It just didn't touch the actual candle. It just hit off the wick. But like sometimes it does that. Sometimes it'll tap and hit this like exactly to the body of the candle and then go. Sometimes it just goes a little bit past. Like it does that. So it's like those little things you learn by being in one pair. I'm telling
absolutely.
you, one pair is where it's at. If you watch any video on traders who are at like they like are at the like in New York City, like they're at the, what do you call it? Like the floor. They call it the ground floor of trading.
Yeah.
They usually trade one pair. They're not like on 10 different pairs.
No, exactly.
So
I think it's a mistake so many traders make as well, isn't it? They start off trading like 6 to 10 pairs, and then slowly over time, as you get better at trading, you start cutting pairs out until eventually, I think most traders who day trade, at least anyway, I think if you're a swing trader it's different of course, but most traders that are day trading or intraday trading, you are trading 1, maybe 2 pairs tops. Yes,
exactly. I just think like I want to know everything about it. To me it's like a relationship, right? If I'm with one person, I'm going to know everything about them.
Yeah, too right.
So it's like I trade this one pair, I'm learning everything, all its little quirks and all that. But I am flirting with this idea of like when this major pair, because this is considered a major, when it's in consolidation and not really doing anything, I want to look at the minors. That's something I'm thinking and like looking into. But it's like when the majors are not moving, the minors are doing something.
Yeah.
Like that's I've heard that. So I'm like, I'm working with that right now. That's not like official, but
Euro GBP is a good one for that, because obviously when the Euro USD and the GBP USD are consolidating, usually Euro GBP is doing something. So that's quite a good one for that. But I found that when I involved other pairs, it just added extra noise, and I would miss trades and opportunities on my main pair. So I'm these days I stick to Euro USD and I don't really move away from it. I do watch one other pair, but I don't make a primary focus of it. Euro USD is my main pair for pretty much everything.
Okay. Well, also like watching so this pair Euro USD, GBP USD, NZD USD for this pair, and then obviously like the dollar index. Like if you, now I get why people have like 5 monitors or whatever.
Yeah.
But like if you had them up, you can see like they move very similar.
Very similar.
Right. The dollar index is obviously opposite.
Yeah.
Because they're going against the dollar.
Yeah.
But you could see like, all right, I'll just talk like this. Like let's say this right here, right? Oh shoot. So the market broke up here and then dropped, right? Mm-hmm. Now you saw this on odd first. But Euro and GBP are lining up the same way.
Yeah.
And they just look like they keep going up a little bit higher. But this pair dropped low.
Yeah.
Like you could like get some foreshadowing.
That's
right?
it. You get a nice early position.
A random example. Yeah. Like obviously do your own research. But those are like, this is what real indications are. Like it's not the indicators that people trade with.
No.
And this is my opinion, right? My opinion. The real indicators is the candle, is like utilizing other charts to like correlate. Also, the indicator of like the fair value gap, which is the imbalance, right? You see how this wick doesn't come to this wick, and then order blocks like that, right? Those are the indicators, and then stacking those up to then being like, all right, this is the trade. But again, like me, I'm also a probability guy. So I'm like, all right, well, if I'm thinking this, I'm just going to go with it, because if I miss it, and it's not a FOMO. It's like if I miss the trade, I'll be pissed that I didn't enter. So I might as well just get in with proper risk and just learn, right? So I feel like, I'm sorry I couldn't give you like exactly like how I market, but like I did. I just told you it. It's just like I'm really good when it's live because I have and I'll tell you, my challenges. Like you say, you don't journal. My challenge is going and marking previous charts.
Yeah.
Because I get so bored because it's like there's nothing on it. And it's like, yeah, of course it's going to work because I'm going to make it look like what it needs to look like to work. So, but when I'm in the live, like that's where you're learning. That's where you get it. Like there's nothing like live charts and like, as they call it, reading tape, right? Like you're reading the tape, right? When it's actually happening. Because look, watch this next candle pop up. Boom. That's all you saw. You just saw it drop straight down.
Yeah.
That's great. Like right now, I know it dropped down, but when you're in it, it's like, it's like this. It's like whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah.
and then it goes down, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, you miss all that. So that's why, like, you don't get to learn the emotion.
No.
So trading, it's honestly like, if you believe and you know how to control your emotions, you're going to win, because you're going to stay cool, calm, and collected. It doesn't, I can show you anything. It's not going to matter. What really matters is like keeping your mental and just believing that what you're doing is going to work.
Yeah.
And just keep going, like just consistent. Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone who can relate with this, but when you work a job, there's people in your job who constantly mess with you sometimes, right? Because there's people who like to joke and they want to throw you off mentally. Even in sports, you're playing baseball or football or soccer. They're like, yo, what's up, man? Like they try to get in your head. And once they get you, you don't know how to play anymore.
No.
You lose your cool. You're out of the game.
Absolutely.
The same thing here. It's the same thing. Same thing.
No, thank you for that. No, it's really, really good. It's really good to get your insight, and it's really interesting to understand kind of how different traders do it, really, which is great. So, talk me through then. So, had you used any other prop firms before you found CTI?
Yes.
Yeah. So, used other prop firms. What then led you to CTI over the others?
So, I'm going to say this. When I do I go all in, right? So what that means is when I looked up prop firms, I went all in on looking up prop firms.
Okay.
And so I found all this information. Some guy had posted like the top 100 prop firms, and I went in and clicked every link and looked and saw what I was looking for and also what others may be looking for.
Yeah.
And, they were in the top 10 originally. Okay. Now they're like I think they're number 1 or in the top 3, right? In this guy's opinion. Yeah. And I was like, damn, they've come up. They've done better, because I wasn't trading with them when I first researched. And, but yeah, so I actually started with FTMO, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And they're cool, but they're great. It's great. It's just, they're like the foundation of all of it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they started it kind of. And what was good is they don't, and a lot of prop firms, what I was looking for was no monthly fees, right? So that I started with them. I immediately passed off one trade each time. It was incredible. And then I had the funded account. I grew it to, I had 16,000, and I lost it all because of gold, right? Because I saw that indicator, like I said, anyway, and I blew the account. So I was like, damn, I thought it was my time to be an earning trader. No, it wasn't. All right, so, so then I went with them first. And then after I was fed up with that, I found another company, Fivers. I got funded with them, lost the account. And then, which they're cool too. But CTI, I will say, CTI is, the charts move better.
Yeah.
Spreads
are amazing, aren't they?
I think the spread's amazing, and I would say it when it moves, it feels real, right? I feel like I'm really like in the market. I also feel, because of the low leverage, it makes it real, because you can't just like overhype your trade.
Yeah.
And so it becomes real. And even though I use proper risk, so it doesn't matter, but still, like, I don't know, it's just something, I just feel it. It just feels different. But you get, like, when you get in a car, you start driving it, you can feel the car. So I love that I'm not restricted to news trading. I'm not restricted to holding on the weekend. I don't hold on the weekend, but sometimes I'm feeling bold. I'm like,
it's nice to have the option.
This is gonna cool.
It's nice to have the option.
It's nice to have the option. And news, I honestly, because of them, I was like, oh, now I can start looking at news and seeing what's up. And it's not so much trading it at news, because most firms, you can't trade 4 minutes, like 2 minutes prior to news, 2 minutes after. So it's like I wait for news to hit, and then I could get in right away if I want to, and they're cool with that. So I'm like, all right, excellent. But yeah, because like I wanted to make sure I got the right one, and once I saw, like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like 39, and this is new. They've updated their platform, because before they didn't have these accounts like they had. And their site was a little more confusing to me, but now it's like, it's mint. Like you go in, $39 for a $2,500 account. You want instant funding?
Yeah.
You could pay $100 or I think it was like $50 to get a $4,000 account, but you start with $1,000. But that leverage is real low. But it doesn't matter. It's like real. It's real, and it doesn't matter because the money. It's like the fact that I can get immediate funds after passing one challenge.
Yeah.
Right. Like so. Yeah. I really love the platform.
Great.
And I wouldn't say I've utilized all of it, but I love it.
Yeah, it's good to hear. So, I think I told you before, I'm not employed by CTI per se. I do this, I do work for them, as, they've asked me to come in and host their podcast, but I'm like you, I'm just a trader, and I know a couple of the guys that run CTI, and I've got friendly with them over the years, and they've reached out to me and said, hey, look, we want you host for the podcast, why don't you come and, have a chat? We'll get some podcasts done. I was like, yeah, brilliant, love it. Because as my kind of social media YouTube channel was growing, for me, it was a really good opportunity. So I used CTI before, and they had some very different rules back in the past. And I'll be honest, it kind of put me off a little while ago. And then when I got talking to them again, they said, look, if you see the new rules, I had a look at it. And I was like, and what I loved about CTI is, like you said, how real it was, how they are a really honest company. They're very honest about the fact that their challenges are demos, whereas other companies are often like really sly about it, and they almost don't want to tell you. They're really honest about the fact that they book their customers, whereas other companies, they just don't talk about that. I just feel like they're very open and honest. When the whole My Forex Funds collapsed happened, they were, I think, one of the only companies to actually release a statement on it, on their thoughts on it, and why you're safe with them. And they just seem, you get a good feel for things, and they just seem like a really good company. When I saw they'd updated their rules, and basically they've got rules that are as good as, if not better than FTMO now, and I was like, this is going to be big. This is going to be big.
Agreed.
And I think they're really paving the way now. It worries me how many of these smaller prop firms are just popping up out of nowhere. There's all these other companies that have come out of nowhere, and I see people on Instagram and social media all the time like piling their money in and promoting them, just like, look at what happened to My Forex Funds. They were a really reputable company, and they were screwing us over. I lost a lot of cash with them over the years, and a lot of accounts when they went bust, but they were screwing people over, and they were one of the ones that you can trust. So all these new companies now that are coming out, I'm just like, do you know what, stick to people you know. For me, I'm CTI, and once I've maxed out CTI, I'll probably move on to someone like FTMO. But other than that, I don't really know. Maybe Fivers. I don't really like Fivers rules, but for me, it's like I'll stick with the big companies and the ones that have been in the market for years and years and years. And when I've maxed out all of those, you're looking at like £2-3 million worth of funding. So you're probably okay. You probably don't need anyone else.
Yeah. Correct. Well, and you know what? I agree. And what really, even before they changed all their rules at CTI, it was the fact that you can get 100% of the money that you trade.
Cool, isn't it?
That's what I was looking for. So when I saw that, I was like, FTMO, like they're doing 70-80%, and everyone was following suit with them. But when I saw Fivers and CTI, they were pushing the envelope. They're like, we're gonna give you 100%. You got to work and earn it. But I'm like, all right, that's cool. I have the opportunity to get there, right? And it's like, even still, you still have the ability to earn a lot in that process. So to me, like, that was the game changer. I'm like, wow, they're really like, they're just changing the game. They don't care what everyone's doing. No. And that's what I like, because I'm like, look, they're cutting edge. Yeah. Like, they're cutting edge. They're not just like following the same cookie cutter, right? And FTMO is the cookie cutter. They're the ones everyone followed. And they're still a great company, because, like, they're good. They're reputable, right? But, like, they're not cutting edge. Like, and now they're like updating. They're trying to be like CTI and Fivers, because like them two are really the ones who I think are cutting edge. And like they literally, and CTI I would say is better because the rules. Yeah. If Fivers had the same.
I feel like there's no love.
They do trade different.
Companies like FTMO, I feel like there's no love. I feel like they don't care about you. Like CTI, the feel I get is they care about you. They want you to do well, and they openly admit that if you do well as a trader, you're going to make them money, which is why they can afford to do 100%. Because if you're a good trader, they're going to be copying your trades across effectively. So they give you your 100% and they're getting their 100% on another account, copying your trades across.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm assuming that's
what prop firm is.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's how it's working. And
but
that,
people don't know that. If you look up the definition of proposition firm, like that's what it is. That's what they copy your trade.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And you know, the fact that they're doing that is obviously quite impressive, and I feel like that then encourages you to do well, that they have a desire for you to do well, and therefore they're not going to make it difficult so that you just get your money so that they can pay their profitable traders. I feel like with lots of other companies though, there's none of that personal touch. FTMO, they're such a massive company now, they don't care about you, you're just another person, whereas CTI, I think we all benefit. If the trader does well, then they do well, and you know, I think that's where they're going with it, which is great. Now,
it's a tighter knit company for sure. Yeah.
I've got some questions for you before we wrap this up. Okay.
All right. Excellent.
I like to ask these questions to every trader I interview, and it gives me a really good insight into you. And I really enjoy hearing how different the answers are. So, question number 1 is, what has trading taught you? Now, this is a really open question. Okay. This could be about yourself, your life lessons, your income streams, career prospects. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. But what has trading taught you?
So much. I would say, and anything you do in life, you can learn. And I will say, like, that's wisdom, right? When you're able to connect bridges together of different ideas, like working out to sports or sports to trading, like that's wisdom, right? I learned that. So I just wanted to share that. And so I would say I grew very wise, right, in areas. And I've learned a lot about life and people and just how to view the world, and everything's an indicator. Like, if you ever watch that movie, what's it called? It's the one with the '08 crash for the housing market.
Big Short?
It's like Big Short. If you watch that, like, you'll learn how to view the world as an indicator.
Yeah.
Like, movies and different things outside of trading will teach you how to trade as well. So like that movie, these guys were like, oh, I don't believe this is real, like to short the housing market. They went to Florida and talked to people who live there and found out, like, yo, nobody's paying, or they're over leveraged, they have too many homes. Like, this thing's happening, right? So they use that real world as an indicator. You could do that with trading. And like, so I learned how to see things, and like, so now I can know, like, all right, something's not right. Or, hey, everybody's jumping on the Bitcoin wagon. They're like, oh, you got to buy. Because we're professional traders, we're not going to buy. We're like, all right, let's wait for that sell because it's coming, because everybody's talking buy. You see what I'm saying? So like, this is like what I've learned, and so much more. I would say what I learned is journaling helps, but also what helps even more is not being by yourself in trading, because it's a lonely game.
Yeah,
and
too right.
I did it by myself because I'm like, I'm going to prove to everyone I can do it. It's me. And that that S is not is not true. Like, it's a team sport, but you do everything on your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will say, like, that's something I learned, is have a community. You know, my buddy, he makes fun of me because it's like, the way I talk about it, it's like an AA meeting, because we're all like, yeah, we lost our trade, right? And it's like, it's not. It's actually an uplifting, and like, we're going to take better action. And it's more of, so I've formulated a group on Discord, and it's completely free. And what we do is we come together, and we're not teaching each other anything, because everyone has their own view of market. We might share what we do, kind of like what I just did. And you know, you could take what you want, but nobody's going to be an educator in there. It's all about, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, can I get some insight? Or, hey, like, I'm struggling in this market. It's beating me up. And it's like, they just want to like talk about it. Because like you say, you don't journal all the time, but maybe you like to talk about it more. So it's like, you could just openly talk about it. And like, you get to free that from you. And now you can go into the market better, right? I learned that how important that is. It's really important to have a community of traders, because if I talk to my parents, my wife kind of is, you know, but it's like, if I talk to them, they're going to be like, okay, like, the markets are bad. It's very volatile. Like, they give you all these like random, you know, CNN answers, right? And it's like, they don't know anything. So it's hard to confide in people who don't know. So that's why it's important to have a group of traders, just like anything you're doing. like you work at a job, you're with people in that same mindset. So you can talk about like the good and the bad and like they get it.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's very important. So that's why I created that group. I will say that group it's helped me a lot because I'm able to express like all the hardship I had, but also have my buddy. He's like, hey, you haven't made a decision to be fully in. And I'm like, damn, you're right. So, you know, they help you get on track. Those things help. And what it's taught me about life is you're going to have highs and lows. And also you got to learn your lessons through the lows, and, you know, the ups will come again, but you got to stay consistent. And people say it, and I never get it. Like, what's consistency? It's just showing up every time, even if you're not feeling like it, even if you had a bad day of trading, whatever, keep doing what the winning formula, which means like what you're already doing, and just tweak it. It's a game changer. Like, and trade one pair, you'll really learn more.
Yeah.
And if you want to trade more pairs, that's fine too. I'm just saying, like, what else? I mean, there's a lot, but nothing that's coming to mind. So I feel like I said what I needed to say.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What would you change about your journey? So if you could, what would you change about your journey in trading?
Well, I think what I didn't share was, I shared that I did Uber, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if I could give the heads up to anyone who's new or one thing, you can't ever change it. So I never think like that. But like, I guess it's like if I could tell my younger self in trading, right? It's more like, hey, lose your ego right now. Like, get rid of it, because that is not going to help you. Also, be humble, right? That kind of goes hand in hand. Be humble, and because I really had an ego because I realized like how important my time is, which is okay. And I realized how much money I could make in the market. So then I walked around like I was a big shot.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I'm not even a big shot. I'm just like some guy who has the opportunity to be a big shot, but I'm not, right? So it's like I got humbled, and then I got super humbled every time I get in the market. But then when that year happened, when I started driving Uber, I got super humbled because the money I was seeing was so crap.
Yeah.
Because like when you go in the market, you can make 300 in like 2 seconds.
Too right.
I was making 300 in 12 hours.
No.
I was like,
Crazy.
what? And I was driving 12-hour days.
No way.
For 6 days a week.
Wow.
Because I needed to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
I got family. I had to provide. I didn't want to do it that way, but you know what? That's God coming in, showing me like, hey, humble yourself. And I did. I saw a lot of things, a lot of people living way worse.
Yeah.
It was very humbling, and I really didn't enjoy it the whole time, but I still did it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, if I could go out and do this stupid crap, like why can't I be like that in trading and just still show up every day regardless of how I feel, right? So like that's probably like your last question.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we go into these questions, people are like, is that answer, is that good? And it's like, that. It's your answer at the end of the day. It's perfect. It's perfect as it is. Yeah. Now, I ask this question quite a lot, but I think I'm going to change it because I know what your answer is going to be. Okay. The question normally is, who has been your biggest supporter? And I know you're going to say your wife. And so we don't need to ask that question. All right. So I think we're going to change it from this point forward. It's the first time. I'm going to come at the top of my head. I'm going to say, what's wrong with the Forex trading space?
What's wrong with the Forex trading space?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's whew, I love this one. All right. One, yes, my wife does support me, but I will say, I just want to answer that question. My wife does support me, but I will say having a community is way better because your wife could support you.
Better than your wife. Point. She better not watch this. You're in trouble.
Well,
you're in trouble.
No, like my
You're
wife gets it. Like she supports me, number one supporter.
I know what you mean.
But having a community of people,
agreed.
Having a community of people, like it helps so much more. Because again, my wife can only do so much, and she knows that. She's like, "Please don't talk to me about the child." I'm like, "Okay." Like,
I don't care. I don't care, Nikki.
She supports me where she gives me the space.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate that. But to answer your question, what's wrong with the Forex space? It's a great space. I love it. I'm glad I'm in it. And I'm thrilled every day I'm in it, and I thank God every day. But I will say, look for real information.
Okay.
Like, I'm not a guru of any type. I'm just a man who trades. And if you look at my profile, Nicky Limitless, it says, I am a man and I day trade. That's it.
Love
like
it.
It's like, what more you need to know?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So it's simple. But find real information, because a lot of people out there are claiming they're doing things and they're really not. A demo trader is a rock star.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone who trades demo, you're a rock star because you don't have any attachment to it. So it's like that beginner's luck, right? You could get a good trade. Also, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, we could all post winning trades.
Yeah.
But like 10 seconds after they post that winning trade, they lost it all, right? Most of the time, right? And I speak from experience. That's what I say. And it's like I used to be caught up in that hypey stuff. And here's an indicator for you. When you post your trade that's currently winning, immediately close that trade, because it will revert, because that's when it happens, because you're showing out. I promise you, if you do that, you'll watch that trade completely like hit the other direction. But yeah, so there's a lot of false information out there because people are hyping up their strategies, and you gotta see also what works for you, because I was told there's $6.2 trillion in the market. There's 6.2 trillion ways that you could come in and get money, right? So there's so many ways to do it. So they might not be wrong, but they're just not honest, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who are not honest. They give you half information, right? And I shared with him. I said, hey, I can show you me marking, but because I'm not an educator, the difference between an educator and someone who just trades. An educator can give you every little detail to the point where it leads into that trade. Me, it's like I have that in my head, and then I'm giving you like ideas that I go off, but I have so much more information in my brain. So it's like, that's what you don't get with some people. Some people are really good where they can give you every little. So that's what you got to see. There's that guy, Tom the Trader. He's I would say he's good. Yeah. I don't know if he's teaching, but yeah, he's pretty good.
How would you go about, so if you were new to the trading space now, or if somebody's watching this and they're newer, how would you filter out the nonsense from the honest traders? Like what would you be looking out for in a trader, or in, let's say, a social media portfolio? What would you be looking out for to indicate that this person is honest and trustworthy compared to those who aren't?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I've always been introduced from other people. So find other traders that believe in. Yeah. If you don't know how to, if you're not confident in picking your own educator, just find people who are, and then just use what they use. And if it's wrong, cool. At least even someone who's wrong will teach you something right. Yeah, fair. Because you'll learn either that's the wrong way, or hey, that's the right way. So I would say, if you're new, it's okay to fail. It's okay to pick the wrong one. The mentality is you have to shift your thinking. It's not like, oh, I got screwed over by this person. They gave me all crap information. No, it's like, hey, you chose something. You made a decision. Own it. It's yours, right? And hey, it didn't work out. It's all right. Who's next? Who am I going to look for next? What information am I going to look for next? Until you're going to start seeing information that becomes real, because you're going to do research in the markets on your own. You're going to do research via people. And it's like, when you see what they're teaching is matching up, okay, it works. And who knows, maybe they're not, sometimes people aren't good at their own strategy, or they have the strategy, but they're not able to be consistent, but they taught you something and you know how to be consistent. Yeah. It works. So it's like, you just try things and mess up and be okay to fail. Yeah. People who are in business, which I would say a day trader is in business for themselves. 100%, yeah. Think professionally, right? If you think professionally, it's okay to mess up, because that's how you learn, that's how you grow. But those who fear messing up, you're constantly being told how to move and live. You have to start thinking and being someone on your own. Also, I would say faith is a huge thing. So if you believe in God or any higher being, that helps, because it's hard. I would say it's very challenging to do something that you can't see without having something bigger than yourself. Right. So I'm a very spiritual person. And that plays a big factor in this. And for some time, I didn't believe I can have this, because because the way I was doing it, I was very greedy, and I was being selfish and greedy. I want the money. And it's that doesn't align with my spiritual side. So it's I had to learn how to make it so. And it's, stop being greedy, put the ego aside, trade professionally, not like a gambler. And, that gambling instinct is just natural because it's just excitement. All gambling is, it's like being a kid in a candy store, just fucking, going off and just doing anything you want to do in that moment. It's called, and me and my buddy, we call it like firing from the hip. You know, you're not doing anything proper. And I still struggle with that because once you have it, it's always there. But it's knowing when you can like realize, hey, I'm doing that. Boom, now you're off of it. And now you could change it, right? The realization of things. So for the new trader, that, and also make the decision to do it and like just ride everything. Like if you're gonna do trading, like it doesn't matter what happens, good or bad, just keep going.
Yeah.
And don't listen and don't tell people anything unless they're traders themselves.
Yeah.
Don't tell people and because they're just gonna tell you can't do it.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Me, I'm like, cool, I can't do it, watch me.
Yeah.
Right, watch me. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, there's still a lot of internal battles. But
love it.
It's all part of the fun, man.
That's it, man.
It's all part of it.
You got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy it. And then I have a feature on here where we ask the last guest to leave you a question ultimately. So I've got a question from our last guest, MK, and he's asked me. Okay, so a slightly different one. So he's just said this: top 3 lessons from your biggest losses.
Oh God.
Top 3 lessons from your biggest losses.
Cool. Oh my gosh. All right. Top 3 lessons. Well, I think I touched most of them.
I think you have, yeah.
I have. And
you got to summarize them now, though. You got to take all your work and you've got to give us a checklist.
I give you a list?
Like a checklist, yeah. Top 3. Order top 3.
Yeah. It's crazy because it's so crazy. All right. 1, I learned stop chasing money.
Stop chasing money. Right? Number 1. Stop chasing money.
Stop chasing money. Stop chasing the money because that's gambling. And and just to add a little to that is when you're chasing the money, you're looking for that outcome. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, the take profit. Mm-hmm. You're looking for that number, and if you don't get it, it's not good enough. Yeah. And when you chase, that's why it doesn't matter. Like the money doesn't matter. So it's more like the probability of it, the risk to reward. That's what you chase. The risk to reward. Oh, I'm getting that 3 to 1. Excellent, right? Lesson 2. There's so many lessons. But all right, on the worst trade, I would say, okay, this is good. You have to mourn those trades because if you don't, they just carry on. Yeah. And mourn mean like you have to get over it. You have to speak on it, write it down, process. Sometimes it takes me 3 months to process something because I'm like, hey, I don't want to talk about it. And it's like, I'm just letting it sit inside and I'm just letting it fester and get worse. And then my trading gets worse. So it just keeps stacking to the point where it's like, oh, every trade I get in, I lose. And then you start getting that, right? So it's like, you gotta get over your past trade. Okay. And listen, that one that knocked me out, that gold one, the reason why I didn't come back to trading for a year is because I didn't mourn it for a year.
Yeah, didn't process it. Didn't process it.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I was so hurt. I didn't want to process it. And it completely took me out the game. And I love this game. And it made me forget why I like it. Yeah. So, all right. And then number 3, is, all right, it's like a 2-part. It's really learn risk to reward, or not risk to reward, risk ratio. Your risk, what am I saying? Like how to properly use your risk.
Risk management.
Right? Risk management, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Use your risk management properly. Yeah. And learn how to understand it and learn how to use it because that is how you trade. It's not the take profit zone. It's not the entry. It's your risk management because that's really where you're really controlling everything is the risk. It's not, I mean, yeah, cool. I put my take profit. Sometimes I just put it in a crazy place because I'm like, if it ever just does a slingshot down, it's going to hit and I just won big. But I'm always following my stop. Yeah. Like I'm following it in a way that makes sense. But yeah, like that, and also don't move. And part two of that, don't move your stop loss back ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Ever. And I mean, like a pip or two, maybe because you see structure.
Yeah.
Like there's like a professional reason, but don't just keep sliding it back, because what you can do is get the F out.
Yeah.
And then either know it's going the other way and get in, or just get out and find the new entry. Like, don't waste your mental capacity.
Yeah.
Like a computer. You have so many apps open, it can't do all of them at once, right? So we're not a computer. We can really only focus on one thing. So if you're in a trade that's losing and you're in another trade, all you're thinking about is losing trade. So then probably just get out. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Honesty moment then. Honesty moment. When was the last time you moved your stop and lost? I'll tell you mine. It was 2 weeks ago. I remember it. I moved my stop. I doubled my stop and it lost. And I was like, what have you just done? Why have you done this?
No.
When was the last time you did it? I bet you it's recent. I bet you.
Well, notice I said 1 to 2 pips. Because I did move it 1 to 2 pips because so like that fair value gap in order blocks, if I see there's one, sometimes I enter and I'm like, oh man, look, all right, let me drop this back. But I would say like I do it before I see it coming back.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it as it's moving, like that's bad. You're looking for a big loss.
I think as well. I think we have to be grounded from time to time as well. I think as traders, you have to sometimes break your rules to understand why they're there in the first place. I think if you just followed your rules all the time, you would just be in this like floaty, cloudy land where everything's good and happy. And I think every now and again you have to break your rules. You have to test it. You have to retest them and break them to remind yourself of, well, that's why it's there. And as long as you don't break them too much, we're okay. We're okay.
That's great. No, you know what? I love that, because I would say, like I wasn't thinking that way. So good. Yeah, you have to test them, because it could be a good test. It could be like hey, I'm going to hold this trade longer and see where it goes. And you find out new information.
Yeah,
that's what you're paying. Like, we're not going to college here, people. Like, we're paying in the market for our college degree,
for data,
right?
Paying for data. I love that. I love that. That's what I'm taking away from this. You're paying for data. I love it.
Paying for data. And I wanted to say, I forgot. Anyway, I had something I was going to say on what you were saying, and it's gone. All right, sorry guys.
Nikki, it's been an absolute pleasure interviewing today. I've really, really enjoyed this. I enjoy all my podcasts, to be fair, but you're a really cool dude, and I really like what you're doing and where you're going with it. I think you're at a stage where so many other traders are at, and you've got that taste for it, and you're really fired up, and you're driven, and you still enjoy it. It's not beating you up yet. You've gone through some wins, you've gone through some losses, and you're still going, which is great. And I'm going to be connecting with you after this. I'm going to get you in my Discord, because I want you in my Discord. I want your positivity in my Discord. All right. I'm going to fire you a message when we finish this today. And yeah, look. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, my dude. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you taking time out to have a chat with me. And
thank you for having me on the podcast.
Let's make them M's. Let's make them M's.